Alright, we are building Flappy Birds. This video is part of the Flappy Birds playlist of the YouTube on my channel. Alrighty, so we're starting the game. Let's see how it goes. First of all, we go and start Unity. Once the Unity hub has started, we will create a new project, and the new project is going to be in 2D. We'll change the name of the project to Flappy, and we will save it somewhere on the desktop. You can see the folder on the top left. Once the project is started and ready, we will go into the game mode and change it to the portrait, 10 by 16, 9 by 16, or maybe 1080 by 1920, whatever is the ratio that you like. In the assets folder, I'm going to drop the assets that we have created in the previous videos: the bird, the background, the floor, the pipe, and the titles. First of all, I'm going to drag the background into the scene mode. I'm going to drag it to probably fit the full screen. Make sure that I've centered it to 0, 0, 0, 0 for the position, and 1.9, 1.9 is what is the size fitting for me. Then I'm going to drag the floor 2 times onto the scene because it is going to slide from left to right. For convenience, I'm going to change the layout to probably default. Yeah, this looks better. I'm going to make these two put together in one parent object. For that, I will go into game object and create an empty object and drag these 2 floors into the empty object and call it floors. Now I can move around these 2 floors together. I'll arrange things a little. Yeah, this looks good. Bottom window is the one that shows exactly how your game will look like. Now I'm going to select the birds file, change the sprite mode to multiple, go to the sprite editor and click on slice. It will automatically slice 3 images into 3 different sprites. Apply, close this window, and now you can see under the bird I have 3 birds. I'm going to select all 3 and drag them onto the scene. As soon as I click and drag, drop it, it will ask me for the animation name, and it is going to animate all 3 automatically. I will resize it to something larger, and I will try to play the game to see exactly how it behaves in the game. You can see the bird is flapping the wings. So our artwork is working. I'm going to reduce the size to look correct for the bird. Yeah, this looks just fine. Now I'm going to change the arrangement of the background. The background layer goes to layer order 0. The floors go to the layer order 2. The bird goes to layer order 2 so that they are on the same level. And I will add a rigid body 2D to the bird now. And when I run this game, the bird drops down onto the floor. But it does not hit the floor because the floor does not have a collider. So what I'm going to do is select, yeah, the bird doesn't have a collider as well. I'm going to add a box collider, a circle collider 2D to the bird, and box collider 2D to the floor. The circle is slightly bigger than the bird. You can see the green line around it. When I run the game, it's going to land on the floor, but there's a gap between the floor and the bird. So I'm going to go and change the radius of this collider. Select the bird collider, go into the radius, change it from 0.8 to 0.7 maybe. 0.65 could be better. And I run this, and it's going to land on the belly right on the floor. This collider size looks correct. Now I'm going to select the pipe sprite, go to the sprite mode to multiple, slice it, apply it, and now I have 2 different pipes inside the same image. I'm going to drag the upside pipe and the upside down pipe onto the scene right on top of one another. I'm going to group them together the same way. I created an empty object called pipes pair, drop the pipes inside it and resize it accordingly to, yeah, the sprite layer will be 2 again because it's going to collide with the bird. Let's see what is the better size. Yeah, this is a good size of the pipes. So this is going to go right and left eventually. I will reduce the gap between 2 pipes so that it becomes difficult for you to play. And yeah, this looks just okay. In the bird, I'm going to add a new script now so that I can use the keyboard to make mouse to make it jump. So this is what applies to the bird. In the bird, I'm going to check if input.mouse button down, 0 is the first button. So the left button is down, you will get the rigid body, get component rigid body 2D, and going to add some force in y direction positive. So x is no force, y is 350 approximately. Let's see if 350 is sufficient. And now you can see when I click while playing the game, the bird is going up. 350 looks a little less. I'm going to change it to 400. And let's run this. Jump, jump, jump. Yeah, this looks just fine. Now I'll go click on the floors, and I'm going to select the position of both floors to something which is coinciding with the left. So the minimum and the maximum value I'm going to check. It goes up to from 0 to minus 6.1. Now I'm going to add script to the floors. It is going to go check. Yeah, this is the floor script. So if I'm going to move the floors leftwise, and if the position of x goes below minus 6.1, this should actually go vector to transport a position. So I'm going to get the position. I'm going to change the x position negative. I'm going to make it jump back to 0. This translate is going to move, and position v is equal to 0 is going to put it back. So the idea is the floor is going to move back when it goes too much left. You see the floor, oh, it's too fast. Let's slow down the floor. The speed of the floor is too much. So instead of 0.4, it's going to be 0.004. Now you can see the floor is going to go left. It's going slowly, and it is never ending. Now I will select the pipes and add a script to pipes as well, so that the pipes start moving to the left as well. It's going to be the same speed with which the floor is moving. So I'm going to probably translate at the same rate, copy the translate line from here and put it here, 0.004. So now the pipe should actually move left, 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 left. Now I'm going to check if the pipes go down to minus 1.5, they should jump back to 5.5. So if they go beyond the screen, they should jump back. Once again, the same check. If the position x is less than negative 1.5 float, it should be picked and put somewhere above 5.5. So I'm going to get the position, change the x to 5.5, and put the position back. Now when I run this, hopefully the pipes are going to go with the floor. Yeah. So what's wrong now is this only one pipe coming in again and again. It will keep coming forever. You can see the pipe jumps back and comes in. So now I copy paste these pipe pairs to not only 2 but 3 sets, maybe arranging them in such a way that they have an equivalent gap. Also, the position of the last pipe is way beyond 7.5. So changing it to 7.5 is putting the pipes in such a way that whichever pipe goes to the left jumps back to the right, and it becomes an infinite loop. Also, I'm going to change update to fixed update so that different devices with different frame rates should actually play the game in the same way. And this looks like a decent Flappy Bird initial skeleton for us. Obviously, the bird is not colliding with the pipes. So fixed update in floor, fixed update in pipes. Looks good. You can see the background is not moving, but yeah. Oh, the bird is rotating after dropping onto the floor. We'll do something about that in a while. Now I move pipes up and down, so it should actually go slightly up or slightly down whenever we make it jump back to the right. So whenever the pipe is moved back, we will change the y randomly minus half to plus half. So now you will see after first 3 pipes, the pipes will be higher or lower depending on the random number that we received. You can see they're slightly above and they're slightly below. Maybe we can change it to more than half, because half is probably not sufficient. So I'm going to change it to negative 0.7 to 0.7, and that's going to make it a little more random. Even I don't know now where the next pipe is going to be, and once the colliders are there, it is going to be a little more tricky for us. Okay, so now you can see the bird is jumping and the pipes are going higher and lower depending on the random number. Now I will go to every pipes pair and add a collider. So every pipe will have a box collider and it will automatically fit the size of the pipe image. So once they have the colliders, once the bird hits them, it is actually going to get affected by the collision. Obviously the game over is not there. Now I go to the sprite and change the Flappy Bird game over and this title slide, slice it, apply the slices, and I can pick the Flappy Bird title and put it on the screen. This will show when the game is about to start. For now, it is going to show forever. So Flappy Bird title is there. When I run the game, it is there. And while I'm running the game, it continues to be there. Now I go to my bird script and create this title, game running. So I have this Boolean, which will decide if the game is running or not. Boolean is a variable which is true or false. So initially the game is running. While the game is running, it will not show the title. While the game is not running, it will not show the title. So game running is false initially, so the bird will not be flying once you start the game. So inside the mouse button event, I'm checking if the game running script is true. So in the floor will not move if the game running is false. The pipes will not move if the game running is false. So when I run the game, initially no pipes are moving, no floor is moving, but when I click, they start moving. This is because of the Boolean that we've created, but the Flappy Bird title is still there. So I'm going to check if the game rigid body of the bird initially will be 0, so it will not fall down when we run the game. But once the game starts, it will start affecting it. So we play the game and the bird is not falling, but when we click, it is now jumping as expected. Also, I will create a new game object, which will be the title. It has to go invisible once we click the mouse button. So the locals, I'm going to just scale it down to 0. So the size of the title will go 0. And when we start the game, it goes to 1. We have to drag this title onto the bird script, and now it is associated with the bird script like that. So when I run the game, the Flappy Bird title is there. It's a little too small. 3.14 should be the size instead of 1. So instead of vector.1, I will make it to 3.14, 3.14, so that the size of the title looks as expected. When we run the game now, the Flappy Bird title is there, but once we click it, the title is gone. So that's how we disable the title, and the game is running and the collision is happening now. I will go down to the script in the bird, and I will create on collision. So once the bird collides with something, we will show game over. Something, once the bird collides with a pipe, so I will say if the name of the thing which we are colliding with starts with pipes. So it could be pipes 1, pipes 2, or whatever, but it will start with pipes. Or if the name of the colliding object starts with floor, it could be floor 1, floor 2, or something. So in both cases, I will say game over. Game over is a function. I will make this game over function separately. And what happens in the game over, I will say the game running is false, public void. Yeah. So this game running is now false. Everything which is happening in the start, I could probably pick and paste it here in the game over as well. Once the game is over, it will look like as if it is starting again. That is, the gravity will be gone and the pipes in the floor will stop moving. Also, I will drag this game over title onto the screen and set the size to see how it should look like. Obviously, initially the game over should not be visible, but we will set the location maybe slightly lower than this. I will have the variable called game over in the bird script again. So once the game runs, I will say game over is not visible. So this game over title, I'll drag the sprite onto the script. Now it is associated. So whenever the game is over, I will say that the game over size has to be 3.14, 3.14. So when we say game over, It is visible, and whenever the game starts, we will say no, game over is not visible. It's size 0. So when I run this, the game over is not visible, but once I go hit a pipe, it says game over. And now we need a restart button because the game over and we can't do much about it. So what we will do is go into UI, create a canvas. Why a canvas? Because we will add a button to it. So canvas is an invisible canvas that we have. We will scale the canvas to something like 1080 by 1920 because that was the scale. This is just the ratio that we're looking at. Inside the canvas, we're going to create a new button, and the button will look like a small gray box right now with the button written on it. What I'll do is I will change the image to the button we created in our graphics tutorial. It is titles 3. Yeah, this is the button. I will remove the text, resize it in such a way that the button looks more, yeah, that's better, and the size to be large enough. It will show up under the game over, and when I run the game now, yeah, the button is there. Whether you like it or not, the button is clicking, it's not doing anything, and it is there forever. Now we will actually have to hide when we run the game once again, remember? So we create another object called canvas. We will drop this canvas here. When we go to the bird script, I drag my canvas onto the, why it's not visible, save it. Yeah, so we will set the canvas enable to false in the beginning, but when the game is over, the button will show up as well. So you see the button is gone, we're playing, and when the game is over, the button is there. Now we need to have some event in this button because this button is not doing much right now. So I will make a function restart, and in the restart, I will put the code which will be required. But right now I'm going to go to the button. I will click on the on-click plus icon. In the script, I will draw bird because it has the function. In the bird script, I will select the restart function. And now this restart function will be called whenever the button is clicked. And I will paste everything from the start into the restart because this is exactly what we wanted it to do. So once I run the game, the button is gone. I'm playing. If I click on the play button again, and I restart the game. But once I restart the game, the bird is actually hitting other stuff again, and that is not what I want. So the pipes should need to go back, and the float should need to go back, and the bird should need to go back. So we have to put these things back where they came from. So transform position is the position of the bird. I'm going to put it to -0.261.1f. This is what the position was for the initial bird. Now I'm going to change the position of all the pipes that we have. So we'll grab these pairs. Instead of pipes, we'll go to pipe pair 1, pipe pair 2, and pipe pair, and we will make these 3 variables, their positions. Let's normalize them to 7.5, 11, and 14. It's easier to type in the code, 14.5. Yeah, so pipes are 7.5, 11, and 14.5 in X. These are the positions of the pipes. So I have 3 game objects. Pipe pair 1, pipe pair 2, pipe pair 3. I will go back, and in this birds script, I will drag first pipe pair and the second pipe pair and the third pipe pair, and now they are associated with the code. Whenever we restart the game, I will say pipe pair 1, its position should be 7.5 as we discussed in X only. Whatever Y is could probably stay there, or we could set it to 0. 11.5 for the second one, 11 for the second one, and 14.5 for the third one. Transformed position, yeah. So if I run this now, after game over, the pipes should be placed back where they were. You see, the bird is now easy to go. It was just dropping a little, but yeah, so the game is restarting, the pipes are going back. Now I'm going to go create a new UI, a new canvas, scale with screen size, change the screen ratio, and I'm going to add a new text to it. This is going to be the score of the game. So whenever we're jumping over a pipe, the score will be calculated. This is going to be a simple text box. Inside that text, I'm saying score is equal to 0. I will change the text color to something more sharp, the text font size to be large enough, and probably the font, yeah, that looks fine for now. So score is 0. Whenever we go past a pipe, we will change it to something else. Let's see. Yeah, score looks fine, but Orange is not visible enough. Let's make it sharp yellow. Nah, I'll go for white. Yeah, this is good. So obviously the score is not being calculated now. Let's see how we calculate the score once we go past a pair of pipes. So under every pair of pipe, I will create an empty object, and inside that empty object, I'm going to create a box 2D collider. So this green box, small green box you can see here, is representing the invisible scorer object. I'll rename it to scorer, replace it in the middle of the two pipes, and resize it in such a way that this does collide definitely. I will copy the scorer into all three pipe pairs. So, and place them accordingly with every pair. So we have 3 pairs and 3 scorers. And once we go and also we will change the collider to trigger only. Is trigger will be clicked, so that instead of on collision, it will hit on trigger. So inside the bird script, I have an on trigger enter. If the bird hits these invisible collider, on trigger enter will actually be called. I have this variable score, and the score will be 0 in the beginning, and we will create a score plus plus. So we'll increase the score whenever on trigger happens. Also, this is just the score variable which is increasing. We want the text which was visible on the score box to depict that as well. So score text dot text is equal to score plus this score variable. So now this should associate the text with the bird. Where is the text? Yeah, so we'll drag the text here, and now we're ready to go. So once I run this game now, every time if I go past a pipe, it is changing the score to 3, 4, 5. I will increase the size of the text. This does not go with the theme of the pixelated objects in the game. So I'm going to download this gameplay.ttf font. I downloaded from the internet, and I will go to the text, change the properties, and pick this gameplay font for myself. Now you can see the score looks more game-like. And once I play the game now, this is going to show the new font with score 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, why is it rotating? So I will just go to the bird, rigid body constraints, and I'm going to freeze rotation so that it never rotates. The bird doesn't need to rotate in my game. So now here is my final game with my bird jumping around, and the score is increasing, and I can collide with the pipes and the floor. And if I collide, the game will be over. I can press the play button and restart the game. So this is the Flappy Bird game that we have created pretty quickly. Obviously, you will take more time doing this, but yeah, so overall the game is created, and you can let me know in the feedback and comments if you think there are more improvements that need to be done to this game.